The landslide loss for Donald Trump in the 2020 election. He keeps on setting records. The Second Great Depression, the 1932 election, saw Herbert Hoover, the 31st president in American history, lose his re-election. Donald Trump, born June the 14th, 1946, to review, is a date numerology of 31. This is why Donald Trump is going to lose a total of 31 territories, including Washington, D.C. After winning 30 states in 2016, Donald Trump is going to lose the election in 2020. Donald Trump is going to lose a total of 31 territories. A total of 11 territories are going to be flipped. It is because New York, where Donald Trump is from, is the 11th state to be ratified in the Union. You know, this map is a little bit generous. Election maps are not meant to be beautiful. This is a flying eagle, but I'm being a little too nice about Texas and Georgia. Quite frankly, these two states are going to turn blue as well, because Donald Trump is a big, rotten disaster. The 31 connection with Donald Trump is connected. Here we go. Let's color the map. Pennsylvania, where Joe Biden is from. Donald Trump never delivered. Manufacturing is in the net negative. People are gullible for trusting the Republican Party. The Republican Party is the big satanic party of collapses. North Carolina voted blue after the Great Recession. The blacks are going to vote for Biden in Florida. Arizona's flipped blue. The Mexicans, the millennials, the Californians. We love you guys. Come to Arizona. We love ya. Hell yeah. New Mexico goes blue. New Nebraska goes red. Iowa goes blue. Minnesota is the most liberal state in the country. Donald Trump didn't gain any additional votes in Wisconsin. A low voter turnout, and Trump barely won in Michigan with the help of the Israelis and the Russians. Indiana's the really big upset in this election. To me, Indiana's the really big upset that guarantees that we have a blue wave. Georgia is taken for the first time since 1992. It does not get any bigger than Texas. The losses do not get any bigger for Donald Trump. T is the 20th letter. We're talking about Texas. Donald Trump is going to be losing in Texas. The losses don't get any bigger than Texas. It don't get any bigger than Texas, does it? And then New Hampshire, got to color that in. New Hampshire, and then Maine. Blue. Blue all the way. Blue wave. Donald Trump only wins a total of 20 states. It is because Donald Trump got trumped. And because of Herbert Hoover being the 31st president, because Donald Trump is born on 31-day numerology, because we have the next Great Depression, because I correctly predicted the crash, Trump is losing a total of 31 territories. Let's count them down. 4, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 15, 19, 20, 21, 24, 27, 30, 31, including Washington, D.C. Donald Trump loses a total of 30 states because the worst president in American history is a big, giant disaster in regards to the coronavirus. Corona has gematria of 30. Corona and women have gematria of 66. Be my guest. Joe Biden's going to die before the election. Warren's going to get elected. Or Warren is selected vice president. Joe Biden dies while in office, and Elizabeth Warren replaces him. I'm going to show you everything that's happening here. The blue wave happening because of the black vote. The blacks didn't vote for Hillary. The Great Depression is on its way. The blue wave is on its way 91 years later from 1929 2020. Keep a lookout for Joe Biden if he dies before the election, no doubt about it. This is the 59th election, the 59th quadrennial election in 2020, as I predicted back in 2017. Stock market crash. Donald John Trump, the Chinese virus. They leaked it. They devastated America's economy. The idiot downplayed it. He's the worst president in history. All coming from the book of Revelation and how the elite script the elections. The Midwestern Blue Wave, gematria 77, 747. It is in the Midwest. We are seeing the blue wave in the Midwest. It has to do with 91. Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan is 16, Iowa is 6, Illinois is 20, Indiana is 11, Ohio is 18. That is a total of 91 votes. Donald Trump is losing bigly in the Midwest. He is the worst president. This is exactly why. The Southwestern blue wave. Oh, let's build a wall. Yeah. Donald Trump wins all these states and he loses Arizona and Texas. He loses them. The racist loses the border states. America doesn't agree with the racist. President Donald Trump and the Southwestern blue wave, all part of the book of Revelation prophecy of the big Donald John Trump landslide laws. It is all written, ladies and gentlemen. Arizona is 11 and Texas is 38. This guy's getting swept big time. He's getting swept big time. He is losing big time. Arizona and Texas are 49. Trump's a big time loser. Donald John Trump has gematria 49. He loses Arizona and Texas. He loses both of them. Everything Trump touches dies. The GOP strategist was right. The GOP strategist he wrote that book. He was exactly right. He couldn't have been any more correct. Why does Trump lose Indiana? The 2-election winning streak ends for Indiana because Joe Biden, as it stands today, born on November the 20th of 1946, 16, and 17, Joe Biden is a 2 life path, the diplomat life path, the peacemaker life path. Obama's an 11-2 life path. A state that Obama won after the Great Recession, well, this is the Great Depression number 2, and so this is an easy loss. An easy loss for Donald Trump, that is. Indiana, Indian, India, Indiana, Elizabeth Warren, Native American. Trump's going to lose Georgia for the first time since 1992. The Arbery shooting, the blacks in Georgia. 1992, adds up to 21. Inauguration, year 21. Donald Trump, he's going to lose Georgia. Georgia lost in that year. Georgia had 13 electoral votes. Donald Trump, June the 14th, 14 is 5, 1946 is 20, 20 adds up to 2. Donald Trump is a 13 life path. Donald Trump loses Georgia. He loses the election. Easy loss. Texas is going Donald Trump's way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 straight elections that Texas has gone towards Republican. The streak ends in the 11th election because Donald Trump is from New York, the 11th ratified state. The streak ends with Texas at 14 Republican wins. Now, the streak ends in 2028, but I have the red wave happening in 2028. So you have to go with the gematria of end and the fact that W, woman, the 23rd letter, absolutely. Georgia going blue all the way. The Arbery shooting, the blacks. Georgia is named after the male version of George. Georgia is the female version of George. Georgia is a female name. George is the male, Georgia is the female. The first female president, Elizabeth Warren. Georgia goes blue all the way. 2020, 4-year Donald Trump, 4 life path, Georgia, 4th state, Donald Trump loses Georgia. Bam! And this will be the 28th Democratic victory. In Texas, the 28th victory in Texas has to do with the blue wave, the 28th time that Texas is going to go blue. Has everything to do with Warren's initials as well. EW adds up to 28. 5 and 23, that is. Until you see exactly what is happening. The East Coast has gone blue all the way. East has gematria of 9. Donald Trump only wins 9 electoral votes in the East Coast, ironically, at the first primary that Joe Biden won. Donald Trump is only going to win 9 electoral votes along the East Coast. Donald Trump is a racist. Donald Trump is a birther. Trump said Obama's a Muslim. Trump said Obama's not from the country. South Carolina is racist. South Carolina is the first state to secede from the Union. The racist Donald Trump is only going to win South Carolina. This is how it is happening. It is all synced up, scripted history. The racist only wins South Carolina. And speaking of South Carolina was admitted to the Union on May the 23rd. South Carolina. May the 23rd was also the date that Donald Trump went golfing for the first time ever since Americans started dying from the coronavirus. This is the worst president in a nutshell. Why is Texas going blue? I have theorized that George H.W. Bush and Jimmy Carter are going to die before the election because Jimmy Carter and George H.W. Bush were the last two presidents to lose re-election. Jimmy Carter's home state is Georgia. Carter is going to die before the election. Georgia is going blue. The last time Texas went blue was when Jimmy Carter won the election. Jimmy Carter is going to die before the election. Texas is going to flip blue. And then Ted Cruz, the Hispanics, he got blued at the National Convention at Cleveland. Ted Cruz's revenge, 2024, Arizona, Texas, and Florida are all on the Republican Party's radar. But Texas goes blue in 2020. Has to do with Jimmy Carter. The last two presidents to lose re-election are going to die before the election. Jimmy Carter's from Georgia. 1976 was also the 48th quadrennial election. In gematria, it's Donald Trump that has gematria of 48. Donald Trump in the calculator. Trump the dump is going to lose Texas. T's 20th letter, Texas, is going to be a really big surprise. Why Biden here? Why Biden? 1932 was the 37th election. There have been 15 prior Democratic presidents. 1932 is a 15-year. This is the 37th quadrennial election. In gematria, it is Joe Biden that has gematria 37. Trump lost gematria 37. Joe Biden's going to win Michigan. Joe Biden, Michigan, gematria 64. Carolina, another female name. Carolina, gematria 73. Joe Biden won his first primary at South Carolina. Carolina, Corona is crown in Spanish. Crown, gematria 73. Joseph, gematria 73. The gematrias of 28 connect to the initials of Elizabeth Warren. Donald Trump's big upset loss in Indiana. Trump lost Indiana because of the coronavirus. If Biden's the nominee instead of Warren, Biden won Texas because the coronavirus is hitting Texas and Florida immensely. And if Warren wins Arizona, if she is the runner up, if she is running in the general election, if Joe Biden dies before the election, this has to do with the 59th election. Sandra Day O'Connor, the first female Supreme Court justice, was from Arizona. This is why Arizona is going blue. First time since 1996, 25. Donald Trump has gematria of 25. Woman has gematria of 25. This is why Arizona is going blue in 2020. Arizona it'll be a blue state in 2020, but Arizona is a purple state. It is a purple state. The 44th person to be president, Donald Trump, is going to get assassinated. Wisconsin, Georgia are going to get flipped. Don the con man, they wake up. Joe Biden's from Pennsylvania. Bye-bye, Trump. Bye-bye, Pennsylvania. Because Joseph Biden's from Pennsylvania, and Trump gave nothing to the great people of Pennsylvania. Why is Donald Trump sweeping the East Coast? Why is Donald Trump only going to win 9 votes along the East Coast? November the 9th of 2020. 2020 is 4. It's November the 3rd. 18 adds up to 9 on a 9-day. Donald Trump is only going to win 9 votes along the East Coast. The reason for that has to do with the 185. Florida along the East Coast. Georgia is along the East Coast. It's part of the South redneck region, but who knows? Maybe Georgia's going to change. I don't know. Maybe Georgia just had enough of Trump. 29-16, East Coast, North Carolina, Virginia, 15, Virginia's 13, Pennsylvania's losing. New York 29 losing. Vermont, East Coast, New Hampshire, Maine, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Connecticut, New Jersey, Delaware, Maryland, and Washington, D.C. This is a total of 185 electoral votes along the East Coast that Donald Trump is going to lose. He's the worst president in American history. He did not protect the people of the East Coast from the coronavirus in Europe. Europe is the most dominant strain of the coronavirus. He didn't ban travel until March. He's a national security disaster. He's the worst president out there, and this is why Donald Trump is losing 185 votes along the East Coast and 91 along the Midwest. So there you have it. There you have it. The worst president in American history is losing all the territories along the southern border, along the East Coast and the Midwest. The redneck trash region, only 20 states Trump is going to win. In mainland America, he's only going to win 19 states in mainland America outside of Arkansas. The 19th Amendment and Elizabeth Warren may have something to do with that. 115 Republican electoral votes. It is because they are truly the worst. And Donald Trump is the worst too. President Donald John Trump in 115 electoral votes. Donald Trump only wins a total of 50 states because Donald is a fraud. Donald is 50 and 23. Fraud gematria 50, 23. Worst president ever. America is gematria 50. From 30 down to 20, Donald Trump loses the territories. He loses them all. It's very clear that the crash is coming. Y'all lying to yourselves and y'all think the crash ain't coming. It's coming. The elite have planned this. I have exposed the elite's plans. I have exposed them to perfection. You don't get any better information than here. See, Trump carried Maine in that he loses 30 territories. It's pretty clear. It's pretty clear. The Democrats are going to be winning this election. It's clear as day. 11 territories that Trump is going to lose. Arizona, Texas, Florida, Georgia, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, Ohio, Indiana, Iowa. That's 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 states Trump is going to lose. It's official. It has to do with the gematria of Corona. It has to do with the crash. The crash is coming. It is. Suppose why you think that the crash has gematria of 37. This is a good topic in my Gematria Sports and World History channel in regards to the 1932 election. It shows you how scripted the history all is. All scripted by the Grand Code of Gematria. Jimmy Carter is surely going to die before the election. I have no doubt about that fact too. The big landslide loss because of the coronavirus hitting rural America. This is the map. This is the map as it stands for the election. Donald Trump is going to be losing bigly in 2020. You'll probably lose to Warren. I'm going to go with that, but who knows? Probably by, I don't know.